Good morning, Thurgood Marshall staff and students. It's Mr. Gilks here, principal of Thurgood Marshall, welcoming you back to another week of virtual instruction and welcoming you back to another episode of the AM. Students, we're in store for some colder weather this week with highs in the 40s and lows in the 20s. It's definitely time to pull out those winter jackets. But no matter what it looks like outside, we know the vision of Marshall is always bright. The vision of Marshall is to unlock potential by working together to create an atmosphere of academic excellence and a culture of support, belonging, and growth. Before we move forward with our day, let's pause as we all observe our moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand where you are and join us as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for today's announcements. Students, just a reminder, distribution of new district laptops begins this week. We'll begin by distributing laptops to students who have not received a school or district laptop. So if that's you, please make sure you register online. The link is in the Marshall memos and in our website. And students, if you're interested in playing sports, please remember to sign up. The information on how to sign up was sent out in the Marshall memos as well as posted on the Weebly and on our social media site. This November, we have already began our discussion of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Quick review, the 7 habits of highly effective people are 1, be proactive, 2, begin with the end in mind, 3, put first things first, 4, think win-win, 5, seek first to understand and then be understood, 6, synergize, and 7, sharpen your saw. This month, we focused on habit 1, be proactive. Being proactive is planning and taking steps to reach your goals and being careful how we respond to difficult people or difficult situations. Let's take a short look at this video about Ronald McNair. How did his proactive behavior as a child impact him on obtaining his future goals?
When he was 9 years old, Ron, without my parents or myself knowing his whereabouts, decided to take a mile walk from our home down to the library, which was, of course, public library, but not so public for black folks when you're talking about 1959. So as he was walking in there, all these folks were staring at him because they were white folk only, and they were looking at him and said, who's this Negro? So he politely positioned himself in line to check out his books. Well, this old librarian, she says, this library is not for coloreds. He said, well, I would like to check out these books. She says, young man, if you don't leave this library right now, I'm going to call the police. So he just propped himself up on the counter and sat there and said, I'll wait. So she called the police and subsequently called my mother. Police came down, 2 burly guys come in and say, well, where's the disturbance? And she pointed to the little 9-year-old boy sitting up on the counter. He says, man, what's the problem? So my mother, in the meanwhile, she was called. She comes down there praying the whole way there. Lord Jesus, please don't let them put my child in jail. And my mother asked the librarian, what's the problem? Well, he wanted to check out the books. And your son shouldn't be down here. And the police officer said, why don't you just give the kid the books? And my mother said, he'll take good care of them. And reluctantly, the librarian gave Ron the books. And my mother said, what did you say? He said, thank you, ma'am. Later on, as youngsters, a show came on TV called Star Trek. Now, Star Trek showed the future where there were black folk and white folk working together. Right. And I looked at it as science fiction because that wasn't going to happen, really. But Ronald saw it as science possibility. Mm-hmm. He came up during a time when there was Neil Armstrong and all of those guys. So how was a colored boy from South Carolina wearing glasses, never flew a plane, how was he going to become an astronaut? But Ron was the one who didn't accept societal norms as being his norm. I mean, that was for other people. And he got to be aboard his own Starship Enterprise.
We want to take a moment to acknowledge our staff and students who are celebrating birthdays this month. From all of us at Marshall, we'd like to say a happy birthday. Today's quote of the day is by Ronald McNair. His quote is, "Whether or not you reach your goals depends entirely on how well you prepare for them and how badly you want them. Whether or not you reach your goals depends entirely on how well you prepare for them and how badly you want them." Remember, Marshall students, no matter how you feel, we believe in you and your potential for greatness, because together we are Marshall and we are destined for greatness. Please be safe and have a great week of virtual instruction.